Good morning to everybody, and welcome to RE Technologies' RE Techinar, called How to Market Yourself on Facebook Without Annoying Your Friends and Family. And it's brought to you today by a company called CityBlast, a social media listing service. And I'd like to introduce our participants today. First of all, it's myself, and I am the partner of Wave Group, which is a consulting firm in the industry. We do a lot of work with technology and MLSs and brokers around the country. And I'm also one of the co-founders of RE Technology, one of the participants of the session today. And I'd like to introduce to you Shaun Nilsson. He is the panelist and the co-founder of CityBlast, and I think you're going to really enjoy talking to him today. He is not only a technology expert, but he's a real estate agent, he's a writer, he's a public speaker, and he's from Toronto, and he travels to North America all the time to teach agents about how to use this crazy thing called social media in their real estate business. He's also the CEO of CityBlast, the world's largest social media listing service that currently reaches over 4.5 million people every day. So welcome, Shaun. It's great to have you with us today.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, and so what we'd like to do is turn it over to you because you've got lots of great information, and I'll jump in and add the little tidbits here and there as well. So go for it.
Cool. Awesome. So I'm going to get underway here. I just want to make sure maybe we can get some folks chatting into the chat box and letting us know they can hear us out there. If you can't, also obviously let us know that as well. Can I get some folks chatting with us there? Just type into the question box if you can hear us. I'm going to get started. I'm not seeing anyone replying here. Marilyn, have you got folks replying?
They're in the question box, but yes, we are.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, sorry about that. I am Shaun Nilsson. I'm going to talk to you today about inbound marketing, how to market your business on Facebook without annoying your friends and family. I'll tell you a bit first about myself and how my career in real estate began. I am a real estate agent from Toronto, Canada, one of the most competitive real estate markets in North America. We have about 3 times the density of real estate agents versus a city like Chicago, for instance, on roughly around the same population on our board. So pretty competitive market. In my market, in my first year, I was able to generate over $165,000 in commissions and do 24 deals specifically off of my Facebook wall, only using the free aspects of Facebook. So people in my office came up to me and began to ask me in that first year how I was doing so well, because I had just began and I was on the leaderboard all the time. And I told them my secret, or it wasn't really a secret, but I told them my strategy, which was to post inbound marketing material on my Facebook every day. And people kind of wondered what that was at that time. And I started teaching other folks, other realtors, what I was doing, and ultimately the feedback was, this is great, this looks like it really works, but I don't want to do it myself. So I started managing the Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts of other agents in my office. And what grew out of that was a company which is now, today, CityBlast. I had 1, 2, 5, 10. Now we manage almost 7,000 real estate agents, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts all across North America. We're the largest social media management company in the world for real estate agents by far, probably by about 10 times over. And we have posted around 1.5 million individual Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn status updates to real estate agents' walls all across North America, and track the results. So we know what works, what doesn't work, what annoys people, and what generates leads. And I'm going to talk to you today about what specific strategy you can employ on all of your social media channels, which will help you generate more leads and not annoy the folks who are in your network. So we're going to get underway here. I just want to do a quick bit of housekeeping, which is I'm going to talk a lot about Facebook, but when I say Facebook, I actually mean any social media. I talk about Facebook because it's the most obvious example, but we could be talking about Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Vine, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, what have you. So whatever you're using, this is going to have application for you no matter what. Okay, so first, let's get underway here. I want to analyze first, is this an opportunity or is this just a bunch of junk? So some people think that, you know, Facebook is not really that big of an opportunity, and it's maybe just another one of these things that's kind of a passing fad. I think a lot of that mindset has gone away, but I want to analyze why this is a huge opportunity. Over 90% of home searches begin online, and what that actually tells me is over 90% of home searches are beginning without you, without the real estate agent. So Mr. and Mrs. Buyer or seller sit around the dinner table and they say, honey, let's buy, let's sell, let's upgrade, downgrade, get a pied-à-terre, whatever it is, an investment property. The decision has effectively been made. They have made the decision to buy or sell in real estate, and this statistic, interestingly enough, tells me they are making that decision to buy or sell in real estate, but they are not then turning immediately to a real estate professional and saying, hey, where do I start? And it used to be that they would call or they'd walk into an office, they would communicate directly with an agent as soon as that decision was made, because they would then want to begin the process and start gathering information, and they would be doing that through the agent. And now it's the complete opposite. The decision is made and they go online. They go on Google and they start looking for information. So they're looking up mortgage rates, the best neighborhoods to buy or sell in, ROI for renovations, what agents to choose, et cetera, et cetera. So they're informing themselves. And this is a massive opportunity because these folks are floating around out there online. They've made a decision already to buy or sell real estate, and they haven't committed to another agent in terms of buyer or seller listing agency. So these are hot.
Just to add something to that.
Yeah.
We as Wave Group do a lot of consumer research, and we did some research recently with a study we call the Do-It-Yourself study. We were trying to get a sense of, is that phenomenon that you just described, is that something that is only for younger customers, or is it something that we now see with, with all different ages? And in fact, it is for all different ages. So sometimes we hear from agents, well, it's, I don't work with younger customers as much as I work with older. The reality is that they're all doing it the way you're describing it today. So no matter what type of customer, no matter what age customer, no matter where they live in the country, that phenomenon is absolutely true.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't capture 90 plus, I think it was 92% last year, published by NAR. You can't capture 90+% of the home buyer and seller market without skewing into the older demographic, who are people who can afford to buy and sell in real estate and make up the bulk of the transactions. So it's a pretty compelling figure when you think about it. Those are your leads. Those are your potential leads, and they're floating around out there, and it applies to your network as well. In your network, 90% of the people at some point in the purchase or sale process live in that zone where they haven't committed to a real estate agent, and they're researching information and agents and people they're going to work with online. So that's one part of it. The second part of it is people spend 3 times more time on Facebook versus any other website in the world, which is, again, a pretty staggering statistic. But when you think about it, I was once told if you're going to catch fish, you need to fish where there are fish. And in the case of the Internet, Facebook is where there are fish. And here I'm speaking specifically about Facebook, not about all social media. If you looped all other social media in there, they would be, a lot of those other sites would be in the top 10 as well for time spent online. So you have a 3 times better chance of finding any given person on Facebook than any other site in the world at any given time. It's pretty compelling reason to be on Facebook in terms of trying to recruit those prospects who are floating around out there and have made that purchase or sale decision, or who are close to making that purchase or sale decision. But there's an even greater reason to focus on Facebook and other social media. It's because it's a new marketing opportunity that we haven't had before. So in the old days of marketing, you had a choice. You could market either one-on-one or one-to-many. We're all familiar with both of these styles of marketing because they've been around a very, very long time. So what is one-to-one? One-to-one is just what it sounds like. You're talking to somebody, belly-to-belly, networking. Examples of one-to-one would be door knocking and talking to people, cold calling and talking to them on the phone, or networking at a party or event. One-to-one is great because we're in a relationship business, and you want people to like you because people work with those that they like, and you want them to trust you because they work with people, especially in terms of transactions like a real estate transaction, who they know or who they trust and they know is knowledgeable. So if you can imagine someone that they didn't like but who they knew was the most knowledgeable real estate agent, they still might work with that person. But someone that they like who they think is an idiot, they're not going to work with them. So you want to generate a lot of trust, consistency, knowledge, a demonstration of knowledge with people, and you can do that through the one-on-one approach. The problem with one-to-one is it takes forever. like door knocking, you could door knock the rest of your life away. So the one-to-one approach is great, but it's lacking in certain areas, which is why, obviously, the one-to-many was developed. And one-to-many we're also very familiar with. One-to-many is any time you can create one message and get your message out to many people. So imagine a billboard on the side of the road, or broadcast media like radio and television, or flyers that you send to people's doors. Instead of showing up in person, you send out flyers. This is one-to-many. And the great part about one-to-many is it fills in the problem area of one-to-one, which is now you don't have to waste plenty of time going around and doing all the one-to-one activities. You can create the message once and send it out and multiply your message many times over and reach lots of people. The problem with it is it's a one-way conversation. The other person doesn't get to ask you questions or reply to you. They don't get a sense of if they like you or not really, and they don't get a sense of if you're knowledgeable and they trust you really. They only get your first piece or salvo of information and then nothing else. So we've all sent out, 1,000 flyers to a neighborhood and not heard anything back, and that's because usually it's a one-way conversation. Social media has changed the way you can market, because social media allows you to create one message, send it out to all of the people who are connected to you, and then have individual conversations with anybody who's interested in talking about that topic. It combines the powerful elements of both of the former types of marketing that we used to use. So it's like flyering all the doors, and everybody who wants to talk to you about the topic responds back. Or an even better analogy would be, it's like if you could walk up and door knock on every door all at once, and whoever answered the door and was interested in talking to you about real estate would stand there and talk to you, and everybody else wouldn't, but you wouldn't have spent any more time trying to communicate with them. So it's a massive advantage of leverage to use social media because of this. Plus, nice to have is that you're going to find more people on Facebook and other social media than on any other space on the internet, period. So to me, this represents the biggest opportunity we have probably seen in the modern era of real estate marketing. Facebook and other social media are a huge, huge marketplace for us to access these folks who are doing their research, who have either made or are close to making a buying or selling decision in real estate.
Well, the other thing that we hear a lot from consumers is it's not just about the actual real estate. There's a lot of referrals that go back and forth this way as well.
Absolutely.
Where we're hearing, so Shaun sent something and I said, oh, that's really interesting. And then it reminds me that, oh my gosh, I did buy a home from him a couple of years ago, and a girlfriend of mine just said she's looking for somebody, and I pass it over to him, and immediately there's a connection. So it can be, for some of it is short term, some of it's longer term, but there's referrals happening that you don't even know. It's really exciting.
Absolutely. There's one issue, though, or challenge. Experts recommend spending 1 hour per day on your Facebook marketing. So the storm clouds roll in at this point because as real estate agents, we all know we don't have an hour a day. It's just another hour a day task you can pile in with the other 100 things that you're meant to be doing for an hour a day. And it's very difficult for us to stay on top of that as real estate agents. So we've got we've got a huge opportunity, and we've got, to my eye, two challenges. And I call these two challenges, the first one I call the what, and the second one I call the how. And the what challenge is, okay, great, there's a huge opportunity here, Shaun, but what am I specifically going to do to take advantage of this opportunity? What is the activity that I'm going to perform on a daily basis or what have you that's going to get me all these leads and make people trust me and make people like me, and it's going to keep me in front of people? And the second challenge is the how. And the how is, even if you told me what to do, how the heck would I find the time to do it? And so we're going to explain the answer to both of those challenges in the next probably 15 to 20 minutes here. And we're going to do that by quickly a few more slides, but then after that, we're going to get onto my Facebook, and we're going to look at some examples of how to do it and kind of talk about that. If you have questions, make sure you're typing them into the question box, because we're going to do some Q&A at the end and get everybody's questions answered about any of this stuff. So I'm sure you'll have questions as we go along. Feel free to write them in there, and we'll talk about, we'll do some Q&A for the last 15 or 20 minutes.
And another thing, to just wanted to let you guys know, too, that there's a contest at the end of this. One of you is going to get a free year service here, so stay with us. You'll be able to enter into the contest.
Yeah, absolutely. We thought Marilyn thought it would be great for us to do a giveaway, and we thought it would be pretty fun as well. So we'll be giving away a full year's subscription to our service at the end, just as a fun thing. So stay tuned for the draw as well. So here's the answer to the what. The what is inbound marketing, as those of you who have guessed, move to the head of the class. We're on an inbound marketing webinar. The what is inbound marketing. And inbound marketing is the golden key that's going to unlock your ability to market to people on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn without annoying them, and to generate massively more leads through all of your social media. And I mean massively more. I was able to do, in my very first year, as I said, about 2 deals a month right off of my Facebook wall. So there is a huge opportunity here to take advantage of, and if you're not doing it, you're definitely leaving a huge amount of money on the table. Even if it was 1, 2, 5 deals a year, of course you'd want to be doing this. So what is inbound marketing? Inbound marketing is earning the attention of prospects and drawing customers to your website by producing content customers value. And I've added the emphasis there because that's the key. We want to use you-focused marketing, marketing that's focused on other people's interests and not our own. So one challenge that I see, or one misstep that I see often from agents, is that they're using traditional outbound marketing on their social media, which nobody cares about. So outbound marketing looks like this. Hey guys, I'm the #1 agent in Leaside. I just sold 4 listings over asking price. If you're looking for the top agent in Leaside, here's my name, here's my phone number and my email, or what have you. And you're boasting about yourself, and you're talking about yourself. And frankly, most people, if not all, are not interested in hearing about that, especially when they have to hear about it day in and day out and week in and week out by being subscribed or following you. You're going to just annoy people, and that's the reaction that a lot of people have who are misusing social media to market themselves, is that, you know, I don't like marketing myself on social because I just feel like I annoy everybody. Well, yeah, no kidding, because you're using outbound marketing, and it's not the strategy to use. I'm going to give you an analogy here, which hopefully will sit with you, which will explain exactly the difference between the two strategies, and kind of will tie in what you want to do versus what you don't want to do. So treat social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the others, as though it was a social event, and act as you would at a party where you want everyone to like you. Pretty simple, right? So here's the first agent, the one that we just spoke about, walking into the party. Now we're in the real world. We're in a physical location. I'm going to be the bad agent in this case. So I walk into the party. Got my business cards ready in my pocket. I'm going to get some new clients today. Walk up to the first person. I shake their hand. Hi there. Nice to meet you. Shaun Nilsson. Did you know I'm the #1 agent in Leaside? I sold 4 listings over asking last month. If you're interested in buying or selling, I'm the #1 guy to use. Here's my card. It's got my phone number and email. Well, it was good talking to you. See you later. And then I walk on to the next person and give them the same spiel, and the next and the next.
I hate to tell you, Shaun, but I think some people actually do that at parties. We don't want to be those people. Well, we want to be the nice, attractive people.
People are definitely doing it at the Facebook party. So I see it all the time. Or I've got these people, I call them ninjas. They're the ninja ones who try to obfuscate or hide the fact that they're marketing themselves. So they pretend they're talking about somebody else. Congratulations to my sellers, Tim and Nancy, on the sale of their home recently in Leaside over asking. I sold 4 homes over asking this last month in Leaside. If you want to talk to the #1 agent in Leaside, give me a call. Here's my number and my email. So they're like sort of pretending that they're talking about somebody else, but they're not. How about this? Let's try a completely different approach. Let's be a different agent. Let's be a smarter agent who's walking to the party and is going to actually do some deals with these people. Okay? Shaun walks into the party. Hi there, nice to meet you. I'm Shaun Nilsson. Did you read this article recently in Toronto Life about the top 5 fastest appreciating neighborhoods? You'll never guess what #1 was. Now that person might actually be interested in talking to me. What was it? What was #1? It was actually Leaside. Leaside went up 8% last year. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I was actually reading up on I found that article while I was actually reading up on top 10 ROI renovations under $1,000. The number one was so weird. Really? What was it? And what have you. You'll have your own style of doing it in your own topics of interest, but as you can imagine, you're now talking to somebody who's interested in talking to you. You haven't annoyed them. In fact, you've probably provided them with something of value, information or something that's interesting or sensational or whatever. And guess what? You're not only standing there bragging about yourself, you are passively positioning yourself as the most knowledgeable person in the room on the subject of real estate. This is the type of person who's standing at the party, and they've got a little group of 3 or 4 people standing around them hanging on every word they're saying because they are a subject matter expert and they're talking about things that those other people are interested in, and they've captivated their interest. And they are now able to talk about their subject matter topic. And guess what? At the end of that conversation, if you say, yeah, no, actually I'm a real estate agent, that's why I just love this stuff. I pick up on this stuff all the time because I'm kind of in that world. Oh, really? I'm actually thinking about selling my place soon. Do you have a card on you? It's a completely different conversation. Marilyn, I know
yeah, Wave Group, we call it edutizing. We use it as an opportunity to educate and to it's exactly what you're talking about. You're attracting someone to you as opposed to trying to pounce on them. Nobody wants to be pounced on, and there's a lot of studies that have talked about that. Traditional, as we call it, all about me advertising, it just doesn't cut it anymore. People don't trust it. They don't trust it in real estate. They don't trust it anywhere else. So much better to share ideas. And I heard a really interesting story. I was in where the whole edutizing idea came from. I was driving from St. Petersburg over to Orlando, and there was an attorney on the radio not talking about how brilliant he was, but actually talking about all the things that go wrong in the courtroom. And by saying, if this happens while you're in the courtroom, here's what you should do. So basically giving answers to issues that people might face. He never once said, oh, by the way, I've done 47,000 cases like this. But just because he clearly articulated how smart he was about these things, it attracted you to you. So that's exactly the same kind of thing we're talking about. The smarter you are and the more you truly want to educate your customer, the more likely they are to trust you and to want to come and work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. So we're going to go over to my Facebook in just a moment, but quickly, does this strategy work for realtors? I think we can see that it obviously will, but this is from Wikipedia. This is not my quote. It's especially effective for small businesses with high dollar values, long research cycles, and knowledge-based products. Can anybody think of a business that describes? It's perfectly tailor fit for the real estate business. So yeah, I mean, we're all running a small business. These are the highest dollar values most of our clients will ever see in their lives. Long research cycles, obviously. Knowledge-based products. If you're not selling your knowledge, you don't know what business you're in because you are not a chauffeur and a shoulder to cry on and etc. I mean, you are, but your real value is in providing your knowledge to your client. Interestingly, I found this in the same Wikipedia entry for inbound marketing. It's not perfect. One criticism of inbound marketing is the time and effort required to create content. So, we've solved one problem and we've stumbled back onto the same second problem again. So the one is the what. We kind of know what the what is. It's inbound marketing, and we're going to go and look at some examples of what inbound marketing specifically looks like to give you guys some ideas about what to post. But we have the second problem still, which is the how. Okay, how the heck am I going to find the time and and provide the effort required to create content and to curate these? And that's what we do at CityBlast as our social media experts. Handle it all for you. So we won't talk about CityBlast right now, but fundamentally what CityBlast does is we are social media managers. We look after your Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts for you. And as I said, it just grew organically out of what I was doing in the first place. So there are solutions. CityBlast is one of them, but the how is answered by not doing it yourself, essentially. And we're going to look at some of that as well when we jump over to my Facebook. So, Marilyn, unless you have anything else to add, we can go over and switch to my Facebook here.
Yeah, let's go. We have a couple of questions coming in, so we'll talk about those in a little while once you give people a better idea of what we do.
Sure. So this is my Facebook right here. You're looking at it. And as you can see, I've got posts all down my wall on all sorts of different topics and such. Some of these are my own posts that I've created, and other ones are not. Other ones are created by my social media expert at CityBlast. So what they are doing specifically is inbound marketing. So every single post that you'll see that was created by my social expert is going to be an inbound marketing style post. Let's look at some examples of what could work as inbound marketing. And again, it can be anything as long as you're choosing things that are meant to be of interest to other people and not specifically about you. And generally, not all the time, but a lot of the time, you'll want them to be about real estate. So here's one. Do you want to paint it black? If you're not a member of the Rolling Stones or Addams Family, probably not. What do you think of these homes which are painted shades of black? And people can see this post, and you see it's got a bunch of likes and some people talking about it and a share. People can click on that, and they'll go to an article about, guess what, homes painted black. And it's a bit of a little conversation starter. Would you live in a home that was painted black? Imagine going back to the party, the Facebook party, and that's your opening line. You walk over, man, I just saw this article about all these homes that are entirely black. Would you ever paint your place black? You can probably get a conversation going with somebody about that, right? So it's a topic of
interest. They also look like they're in the middle of nowhere. They're in the middle of nowhere.
You might want to live there, but no one's going to be near you. Yeah, everyone's going to hate you. But
okay.
So there's an example there. Here's one. I'm in the Toronto market, so CityBlast covers every market, but all my posts you'll see are for Toronto because that's what I've selected as my market. The best Portuguese barbecue chicken in Toronto is a product of time-honored slow roasting techniques. Do you agree with this list? And you can go to a Toronto blog called Blog.to, and it's just the top Portuguese chicken restaurants. So another type of post that you can do. That one's kind of like civic. It's about the city and whatnot. How about this one? Bathroom showcases. This one's a bathroom renovation. And you'll notice a lot of these things are very similar to, looks like the Toronto Star's website is kind of mulched right now, but you'll notice that a lot of these topics are very similar to what you would see on, for instance, home and garden television TV shows or whatever, because those are the things that get the ratings. If it's getting ratings, it's getting attention, right? Toronto's Ethnic Buffet, this is another restaurant one. So I have all of this type of content selected, and that's because here's 10 awesome pools and ponds. This one's actually pretty cool. I highly recommend it. And this one is the type of content that I personally call house porn because it's like images of crazy houses that you are just going to sort of drop your jaw at. Imagine you had one of these crazy places. So people love this kind of stuff, and this is the type of content that you can use to lure in attention and get people talking to you. And there are all sorts of different types of content, though. Some of these are my own posts here. This is just an inspirational quote. People love inspirational quotes. Colorful interior design ideas. There are all sorts of different styles of content that you can use for inbound marketing. Ultimately, it's going to be whatever types of content you think that people are going to be interested in. So it could be interior design. It could be more nuts and bolts stuff like mortgage rates, fastest appreciating areas, real estate statistics for your market. Those things are of interest to people. A lot of people like celebrity homes. A lot of people like design. People, as I said, like inspirational quotes. They like Habitat for Humanity stuff we post a lot of, helping the world. All of these kind of things people are going to engage with, and you want to focus on things that other people are going to engage with. Now, I'm going to show you something really interesting here. Oh, Marilyn, did you have anything that you wanted to add about?
Yeah, actually, I got an interesting question that I think is relevant while you're on this page. The question was, I notice your links are to other people's content. Does that mean don't worry about your own content, or is this to supplement your own content?
Listen, I post, if you mean content on Facebook, like writing your own posts, like I found this and just posted it up, or I created this. First of all, I think that unless you're like Marilyn and you're a complete subject matter expert, I think it's probably a waste of time for you to create your own content like blogging. That is, you can just share other people's content and get 90% of the value. Unless you have a destination website where people are pouring in to come and read about real estate, you probably are spending a lot of time for not that much return. I used to blog and blog and blog and blog in that first year, and I realized none of my leads were coming through my website. I was getting about 3,000 clicks a month, and I could reach 3,000 clicks just by posting on all of my social media, or 3,000 people anyway. So I think that you don't want to create content from that perspective. On your accounts, if you're going to use CityBlast or someone's going to do content curation for you, or even you're going to do your own content creation, definitely post your own stuff from your own life. So like this is a thing that I found. This is my CityBlast team looking silly in an aquarium. This is me landing at an airport. So some of the more recent stuff, I've been a bit too busy to post my own stuff. There was a Mother's Day thing. But you should definitely be posting your own things in between whenever you're out and about. But it's a lot easier to do your own stuff than it is to find great engaging content about real estate. So definitely, though, post your own stuff. I would recommend in between.
Stuff, should it be business stuff or personal stuff, or a little bit of both?
I like to put both because I feel like you want people to like you and know who you are as a person. So I recommend putting some personal stuff, whatever you're comfortable with. You don't have to put, obviously, pictures of your kids and that kind of thing if you're not comfortable with it. But certainly, I think putting some of your own personality in there and maybe your favorite restaurants and stuff like that you're doing is great because people can identify with you. Oh, yeah, I love that restaurant that Shaun talked about or whatever. You're building a relationship with those people.
Got it. Okay.
Good. I'll show you something else that's pretty interesting here. So let's look at some of these posts, and what you might notice is the amount of engagement. So this one's got 4 people there, 6 or 7 people there, and a share. This one's got a few more comments, some more people there, etc. Looks like you're having some effect, like you might be reaching 10 people or whatever it is on a post. Maybe even less, might be even 5 people. I want to show you something interesting. So we have the ability through Facebook to track actually the engagement that our members are getting. And one thing that we found that was really interesting is the hidden engagement is way higher than what you actually see on the page. So you might be using this strategy now, or you might start using this strategy and you're thinking, well, I'm getting a little bit of action here, but you would be surprised. Check this out. So this is my personal dashboard on CityBlast. So CityBlast is tracking all of the results that my experts are getting with the posts on my wall. Here are the shares, here are the comments, here are the likes. You can see this forms a reasonable amount of engagement, but look at this. The clicks are massive, and what Facebook doesn't show you is your clicks. So what's really happening is for about every one of these people down here, you've had 10 people click and read an article. And that means there's a lot of hidden engagement going on because those 10 people still saw this article. They saw that I posted it. They thought, oh, yeah, Shaun's that real estate guy. I'll remember that for later, right? We call them touches or whatever you want to describe them as. You've still got a touch with that person where they're saying, oh, yeah, Shaun knows about the real estate business, or Shaun knows about the City of Toronto, or whatever types of content I want to project. I have all the different sorts of content turned on mine. You'll obviously tailor your accounts to be exactly what you want to put out there, but regardless, you're getting a lot of hidden attention on what you're doing. And so don't be discouraged by this, even if you're only seeing X amount of likes, comments, and shares. What's actually happening under the surface is that you're probably reaching a lot of people with valuable information. And for CityBlast members, some of you may already be CityBlast members, you'll know, of course, that we provide you this data back so you can actually see all of the hidden engagement, which is really valuable. But it's as simple as that.
We just read an article this morning that we'll pass along to all of you guys when we send you the recording of this session today. But one of the things that's really important to think about when you're looking at where you're going to spend your marketing dollars, and I'm sure many of you on the call do things with Zillow and Trilly and many others, make sure that when you look at the kinds of reports that they give you, that you look at click-throughs. Because if you see here, what Shaun just showed us, there's significant amounts of engagement happening here. Some of these are for listings, some of them are for articles, but each one of them is helping to build your brand and to point people back to you when they need real estate help. And make sure that when you look at all of the kinds of things you're doing, that's one of the most important elements. It's ultimately, did they connect with me somehow? If they didn't, if there's a lot of people that are passing by but they're not doing anything with me, it's not going to be nearly as valuable and create nearly as good a return on investment as something like this might for you.
Yep. So, yeah, and then obviously the rest should be fairly straightforward. If people start talking about one of your articles, that's when you really pick it up and just mention something back. So I'm going to move on to a different, very specific type of content that we'll cover kind of quickly here, but you should be aware of because I know a lot of people wonder about it. And this is kind of where the rubber's going to meet the road. So in my first year, out of the 24 deals that I did off my wall, 20 of them came from posting listings. And some people think don't post listings, other people think you should. I think you should post listings, but you should do it the right way, which is you shouldn't just post it up like it's an ad for something. You should treat it like inbound marketing content. What are half or more of the television shows on HGTV about? They're about listings. They're about people shopping for properties. And people are either shopping for properties in reality or they're dreaming about what it would be like to shop for properties right now because everybody likes a house hunt. And posting listings on your wall and treating them as though they're inbound marketing content is a great way to generate lots of activity. So you can see maybe one day I can own a house there sooner than you think. What a great place, beautiful. Wow, you never guess this place is so modern on the inside, et cetera, et cetera. You'll notice that we don't put the price out here or anything like that. We want to treat this like you're luring people in to come in and get excited about checking out this property. And just the same as the articles, you can click through to these listings and have a look at them. And so this is a pretty nice looking house. People like to obviously click through the pictures, et cetera. So we want to treat listings like they are content. And you want to make sure to treat, if you're going to show listings, to treat them like they are content. And in doing that, in my first year, I was able to do about 20 deals just off of the listings alone on my wall. So how did I get the listings? That's the question. I was brand new. They weren't my listings. I didn't have listings. I was a brand new agent. What I did was I called around to other agents in my office and asked them for permission to advertise their listing on my wall. And they would say, sure, go nuts. I would say, hey, I can reach 500 people or I can reach 1,000 people through all of my social media channels. How about I post your listing out and see if I can help you sell it? And they knew they were going to get the listing side of the commission, and they knew they weren't going to get the buyer side of the commission necessarily. So a lot of them just said, yeah, sure, go ahead, bring me a buyer. And I would post them out on my account. Well, one thing that's cool that CityBlast has done is we have a multi-patented technology that's becoming a lot of the biggest industry players have become very, very interested in what we're doing specifically, and it's patented so other folks can't do it, is we have made this process scalable. So rather than you calling and asking for permission from the other agent for their listing, and rather than them looking around for people who want to post their listing, why would they want that? Because they want to reach more people. They want to reach your friends and his and hers. So we have made that systematic. If you want your listing to be one of the featured properties that goes out to all the other agents across your market, you can simply submit it into the CityBlast social media experts, and they'll post it out. So this listing is not my listing. This is someone else's listing, and my social expert has posted this onto my wall for my friends and followers to see. And the cool thing is, as you saw, when someone clicks from my wall, they're going to see my contact information here. Why? Because I was the one who shared the listing out. And we have a compliance section, so you can see this was originally listed by this broker, etc., with this address, but that person knows and has opted in to have me be featured on the page. So it's not like MLS where you would turn your client, you wouldn't share a link off of MLS unless it was your own property. because when clients click through to look at it, they're going to see the listing agent on there. And how many times, if you've been in the business a while, this will happen to you unless you're exclusively using CityBlast. You talk to one of your good friends and they go, hey, you got to come by for the housewarming. And you go, what? They go, yeah, I bought a house. And of course you thought this person was going to use you for sure. And what they say is, oh no, I just was looking at places on MLS. There was an open house and I went by and the listing agent was so nice, we just did up the paperwork right there. And they don't even realize that they're giving the deal away to somebody else rather than you, and that agent has double-ended it. CityBlast has closed the loop, so we give you the ability to feature your listing on other people's walls, but then those other agents want your listing on their wall because they know they're going to get the lead back. Ask Shaun, boom, email or call Shaun now. So we've closed the loop here. I'll show you the power that this has in marketing listings, and imagine walking into a listing presentation armed with this. Here are some listings that I've done in the past through my CityBlast account. This one was seen by 125,000 people and clicked on by over 1,000 people. And I actually checked the MLS clicks for this, and it was under 500. So I've been able to get more than double the people to click on and view this listing, not this one, but my version of this one, more than double the traffic that MLS got. And you can see it's not just a one-off. There's a trend here. That's obviously a really good one, but you can get a massive amount of additional traffic through to your listings simply by submitting them in and allowing them to be featured on the social media accounts of all the other agents in your city who are connected to CityBlast. Sorry, Marilyn, go ahead.
So so this just it reinforces what I was saying earlier. On average, when you look at ListHub, which is where a lot of the syndication is valued, on average, listings, if they are featured on more than 50 websites, are getting 2 click-throughs per month. 2. These are getting 500, 600, 1,000. I mean, it's significantly different. And I think the theory is that because this is a local, we know real estate's local, right? So this is going to other probably progressive, trusted realtors in the market that you probably do business with already. You're already sharing in other aspects. You're just taking it to another level and allowing you to leverage your customers for them and them to leverage their customers for you, and it really works. It's significantly more valuable than other types of online efforts that we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not that unique other than the fact that we've made it systematized. So you just enter your listing once, and it's going to go out to every other person in your market who is connected to CityBlast and wants listings featured. And I'll show you some statistics on how this works. For instance, we reach actually about 5.3 million people a day with our content and our listings, and that's only possible because we have 7,000 members. And so when you have 7,000 members and each one of them has 700 friends or contacts on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn or what have you, you can have massive reach and an ability to reach a massive amount of people. We reach 3 times more potential buyers and sellers every day through social than Zillow, Trulia, NAR, and Airbnb combined together.
Wow.
And it's simply, it's not our reach, it's the reach of our members themselves. And you can use that reach to your advantage to get a lot of clicks on your listings. So I would encourage you definitely, if you get a chance to come and check out this page. We estimate we did about 49 million in commissions for our members last year directly off of the Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn accounts that we service. So some pretty cool stuff there as well. Maybe I'll quickly show you guys.
785,000. So is that right? 785,000 leads, and you have 7,000 members?
Yeah, that's all time. This is our all-time leads. This is the last 365 days. So on average, you're looking at about $7,000–8,000 per member we've generated in deals. So depending on your market, that's probably 1, 2, 3 deals in a year. So
Shaun, we're getting a lot of questions about kind of how this works. Maybe if you want to do a quick demo of that registration process, and then we'll get into the questions because they're stacking up. People want to talk to you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll show you very quickly. If you do want to join CityBlast, first of all, Marilyn's been kind enough to negotiate for you guys on your behalf. We have a discount for you. It is a lifetime discount. You can go month to month if you want on CityBlast. Month to month is no contract, cancel anytime, and you're going to get a 2-week free trial. You can see the pricing here. Monthly, if you want to go month to month, $59 a month. minus 20%, and the promo code is WIN, W-I-N. So when you're signing up, just simply use the promo code WIN, and you'll get 20% off for life. So you can go month to month, cancel anytime, 2-week free trial, 20% off of that price, so less than $2 a day. If you do an annual package, normally it's $39 a month. It goes down to about $33 when you deduct the WIN discount. So it goes down to, I believe, $383 actually a year, which is barely over $1 a day to have all of your social done for you. So I'll show you how simple it is to sign up very quickly. And as I said, all you're doing is, it's just like interviewing a social media manager that you'd hire in real life, except for in real life, a single person who you would work with can't possibly have as much experience as we have, and they also can't possibly have the engagement tools, etc., that we're using to analyze all of our posts and always improve them. So it's just like hiring a person locally, though. So you could pick any market. Let's say you're in Orlando. The map's going to recenter on Orlando. You've told us now you want to focus on the Orlando market. Next, tell us how often we should post. I have mine set to 4 times a week. You could choose a little bit less. If you just want to fill in the background, you can choose less. You could choose a bit more if you really want a robust presence. I have mine set to 4. This is how often we're going to post on your behalf. It's just like telling your social manager, I want you to post for me once in a while or this often.
If you change that from 4 to 7, does it change the price, or is it just your preference?
No, there is no change in price no matter what. So you can connect your Facebook fan page, your Twitter, and your LinkedIn, and post as often as you choose, all for one price, and put as many of your personal listings in to be syndicated out in your market as you want. The price never changes, so we treat it just like a membership where everybody's equal. You can post more or less up to a maximum of daily, choose any market, choose any amount of types of content that you want, which I'll show you in just one second. It's all the same price. And you can add your Facebook business page, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. We'll manage them all. It's one price. So here are the different content types, and you can pick and choose. We have it set up and pre-populated with the ideal settings for engagement as we found them, but you can tweak them to your own style. So maybe you say, first of all, you can view samples of the content like this. It gives you examples of past posts that are of that style. Tips for living well. Maybe you're like, you know what, 20 toxic ingredients in makeup, this isn't for me. Turn that off. Maybe I want to turn this one off and this one off and this one on. If you want listings, this is listings right here, guys. Local listings showcase, that's going to be listings. All the rest of it, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. You pick the types of content you want, and you're done. Once you've told us where you work and what market you're farming, how often we should post, and what styles of content you want, that's it. We become your social media marketing manager. And I can't click send because I'm already logged in and a member of the site, as you might imagine. But once you click send, it's simply going to ask, your Facebook box is going to pop up. It's going to ask you for permission for us to post on your behalf. You simply click yes. We can never log into your actual account. We don't go into your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. We have no access to your accounts. We simply are posting through the Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn API, which allows us permission to create the posts and put them on your wall. And it's pretty straightforward from there. As often as you've chosen and custom tailored for your specific geographical market, and we do thousands of markets all across North America, you can choose any market. We're going to post articles, videos, listings, information, whatever types of stuff you've chosen to your accounts to keep you always professional looking, up to date, and generating leads on all your accounts so you don't have to do it anymore. That's basically CityBlast in a nutshell.
Good. Well, we've got tons of questions, so I'm going to just jump us into that. One of the ones that actually we've gotten from lots of different people is understanding the difference between a personal page and a fan page or a business page. What's your suggestion about the best way to leverage all those different types of formats?
Yeah, it's all personal preference. Listen, some people say you shouldn't market on your personal page. Well, you point to these posts and tell me I'm marketing. What's your favorite Toronto neighborhood to experience new and familiar flavors? Hard to say that I'm marketing on my personal page, right? The only ones you could potentially say are marketing are the listings. So if you don't want to post the listings on your personal page, then don't do that. Personally, I don't feel like it's marketing to too much of a degree. Additionally, we've done 1.5 million posts to Facebook, and we've never had anybody complain or had any sort of an issue. So I think it's pretty much all white hat and up to personal preference. That being said, fundamentally, I like posting to my personal page because I feel like people know me better and they get to see my real life, and they're not being segregated off into a business account where they only have a business relationship with me. I want them to feel like they know me as a person. If you feel like that's not your style, and your style is more to keep it professional, and you don't want them to see pictures of your family and your dog and whatever, and when you're on a trip, then absolutely use a fan page. As far as Facebook is concerned, the best practice is to use your fan page, but we say ultimately do whatever you feel comfortable with and kind of go in the direction that you choose. If you're not sure, I would say default to the fan page and then take it from there, and if you want to change over to a personal page, then do that when you feel comfortable.
Got it. Here's another one. In our market, there's not really a problem selling the homes. There's multiple offers over asking price, like we see in many markets now. Is this system designed more for selling listings or obtaining sellers, or what's your feeling about that?
It's for both. So this is the way you're going to usually obtain buyers. When you put listings on your wall or even articles, you're going to get people talking to you who are oftentimes buyers. Or you can get sellers. When you have sellers, you're going to put your listing in and you're going to feature it out on lots of people's accounts, and you're going to sell your property fast. The more important thing is generating a buzz and generating leads surrounding yourself. So like as an example, if I go on Google and I Google myself, check this out. Imagine I gave somebody my business card. What are they going to do after they get my business card? They're going to go Google me right away. Well, first of all, Facebook comes up ahead of my personal website, which I spent a lot of money on. Facebook comes up ahead. YouTube, which is basically social media, comes up. LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, all of these sites come up on the first page. So when someone's Googling you, they're going to see, guess what? Click, and imagine this was your fan page. You do not want to have a poor presence because you're actually ruining leads you may have already generated elsewhere. For instance, let me Google this company. I had a laugh at them in the past, XYZ Realty. So you Google this company. Their first link is Facebook. Click through, check out their Facebook. And again, if you know the people at XYZ Realty, I'm not pointing any fingers here, but this is pretty terrible. They joined in 2012. They've never made any posts. They have 13 likes. I wonder what these people are doing with their lives. This is not good. If people are Googling you and your presence looks like this or you haven't updated in a long time, people think that you're not staying up to date, and what else in your business are you going to let slide, right? So it paints a bad impression of you right off the bat for people. There are plenty of touch points for your social media that go beyond just generating that hard lead. Sure, you're going to do that, but what about your 100 or 200 or 500 friends? Are they consistently being reminded that you're in the real estate business, or are they going off and using someone else, like in the MLS example that I talked about, because you're not staying in front of them and you're not staying engaged, they're not staying engaged with you? So the short answer is you're going to get both buyers and sellers, but it's more than that. You need to be active in these spaces now. It's like not having a website was 10 years ago or 5 years ago. You couldn't imagine not having a website anymore unless you have a massive referral business. It's now the same for social media.
Gotcha. So it's about building your reputation, building your presence, building your position as the expert in the market, right? All of those things.
Yeah, and of course hard leads. Of course leads as well,
yeah,
but it's all encompassing now.
So here's a question. So if you have a personal page and a business page, can you manage both for the same fee, essentially having a post that links to the fan page?
Yeah. So for the same cost on CityBlast, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so right here I'll show you in the bottom of your settings. Most of these are the same as you would have seen on the sign-up page. There's your content choices. You can change your market. You can change how often to post, etc. But you'll notice down here you can add all of them. Facebook, your fan page, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. Just switch them on. There's an on button right here. I've got mine all turned on. Turn them all on and you're good to go. There's no extra cost or anything like that.
Got it. Okay. If two agents are in the same market, do they get the same content?
Absolutely not. So we have real human beings sitting there crafting the posts for you. We do pull in feeds of all the new real estate content in your area, but a person actually sits there and crafts your post and posts it out to your wall when it's your turn. So the only way that you could get similar content to somebody else is if a great article comes out and it's like, everyone must buy right now in the Toronto real estate market within the next 10 minutes, here's why. It's conceivable that your social media expert and someone else's social media expert would find that same piece of content and post it out to both your accounts. But that's the same thing that would happen if you had both found that same piece of content and written something up about it and posted it on your accounts. Additionally, remember, other people and yourself have 1, 2, 0 friends in common. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You need to be doing the strategy and picking the best possible content no matter what. Even if somebody else is out there choosing good content, you don't want to worry about conflicting with them to the detriment of your own service and your own ability to engage your potential customers.
Gotcha. Here's another one. I've got a couple of different questions about this. Let's say if I'm from either a rural area or a suburban area, like somebody mentioned that they're from outside of Chicago, for example. Can the content be tailored to smaller markets like that as well?
So what happens in that case is this. If we look for content for, like outside of Chicago is not that bad. We have members who are literally in the middle of nowhere. And if you are in that world, potentially there is not real estate content about your market every week or every day. There just isn't, because there's not that many publications focusing on your market. What we do is we work outward in concentric rings. So first of all, it's not all local content anyway. Like this is about a bathroom. This could be wherever. This is about black paint jobs. But for localized content, what we do is work outward in concentric rings. So if we can't find something for your town, we'll look for your county. If we can't find your county, we'll look for your state. If you can't, or province. If you can't find that, we'll go national. So we're ultimately doing our best, as would you be, to find local content. If there isn't any, then we just do our best to get it as locally focused as possible.
Okay. Couple of questions. Here's an interesting one. There are 700 agents in my local brokerage. Can I get permission to use their listings without them going to CityBlast to give permission?
The answer is sort of yes, sort of no. It's going to depend on the rules in your market. But if your broker provides permission, like your broker of record, your broker owner, then you could theoretically use their listings, yes. As far as you as an individual agent, will we allow you to log in and post hundreds and hundreds of listings from other agents? The answer is no. So they're meant to be your own personal listings unless your broker comes in and gives permission for those folks to post, in which case you can have your broker get in touch with us and we can do an individual permission advertise with them.
Gotcha. A couple of questions, too, about the type of content. I know you mentioned that listing content is very valuable. Are any other suggestions about the kinds of content that you've seen that works best, or is it best to just try to do a mix and keep it interesting, keep it different?
The highest engaging content we have on a clicks, likes, comments, and shares basis by more than double anything else. I don't know if you can guess it, but it is Habitat for Humanity. We work with Habitat for Humanity to post out their content to help promote that cause, because it's obviously real estate related, and that content does better than anything else. The other one that's really powerful, we call it Client Finder. It's like little games that you can play on your wall. So what we'll do is we'll post 3 properties, A, B, and C, and we'll say right on the wall, only one of these properties is over $1 million list price. Can you guess which one? And then don't cheat. Post your answer before clicking, and then people will post C, B, A, C, and it'll get a conversation going. And people really like that kind of thing. It takes a bit more work. Obviously, if you have CityBlast, we do that work for you, but that's a cool idea, doing little games and engagement tricks on your wall. And then, of course, listings are great. A lot of your hard leads are going to come from the listing showcase, although I do get leads from other sources of content as well.
Got it. Okay. Few questions about the area, not so much about the content. There's some people on the call that said, well, I can get content. How do I get followers? How do I get people to my Facebook page? Does CityBlast help with building up your fan base and help you find ways to get more people there?
What we can do is we provide, if you get an annual agreement, which is the full year agreement for $383, We will help you set up your page and get it all professional looking, including on your fan page. We'll help you with the little tabs here. We'll help you with your cover photo and your image and your descriptions and all that kind of thing. As far as adding people individually, there's a couple ways to do that. One, you can promote your posts and get other people to add you, or you can advertise for likes. The other thing you can do, which I do not officially recommend because it's against Facebook's rules and regulations, is you can search for people here based on their name or their job or whatever. So what I did at one point was I went through, and this is confidential, I'm only telling you hundreds of people, but I used to go through and look for people, so I'd put in TD Bank, and it would pull up all the TD Bank employees in Toronto. And I figure if you work at a bank, you can probably get a mortgage. So I just used to go through and add 5 people a day for a while, and I did that for about the first year or two as I was building my presence. That's something you can try. Again, I do not officially recommend that you do that, but I will say that doing that certainly exists as an idea.
Got it.
And yeah, you can just get out there. And also, when you're meeting people, make Facebook a part of your world, because people spend all this time promoting their website or whatever, and frankly, nobody goes. You capture a person once, you can talk to them every day for the rest of time. So when you're meeting people, add them on Facebook.
Got it. When you select settings to post 4 times a week or whatever you decide, does it go to each post go to Twitter and all the accounts that you've chosen? Do they go everywhere at the same time? Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they'll go out to all your different accounts.
Got it. And can custom landing pages or squeeze pages be integrated into your post?
We can't do that. We will do that for you, but you can't govern anything about the page. So what will happen is it'll say, like, we'll be playing one of those games. People will click through, and then we'll have a squeeze page where we capture the person's email and send it back to you as a lead. But you can't, like, log in and build your own landing page and all that kind of thing. If you're that savvy, just go ahead and do it yourself and post it out to your own account.
Gotcha. There's several different types of people on the call. There's property managers, commercial, mortgage lenders. Does the process work for those types of real estate people as well?
If you are a real estate agent, I would suggest using CityBlast. If you are a loan officer, we have a sister site called Mortgage Mingler, where our social media experts are all trained to work for mortgage folks. So mortgagemingler.com. The promo code WIN will also work to give you 20% off for life. And again, guys, if you're going on the site, you are getting a 2-week free trial. We're going to start working on your behalf for 2 weeks for free, just to show you what we do. So we stand by the product. On Mortgage Mingler, you're going to get the 2-week trial. On CityBlast, you're going to get the 2-week trial. And use the promo code WIN to make sure you get 20% off after your trial expires.
Got it. Okay. Boy, there are just questions coming in here. You're right, Shaun. You're very popular. One other area, I'm trying to pick up areas and answer as many questions as we can. When you post something, it looks like it links back, or it shows as CityBlast. Does that in any way negate the value of it coming from me as a local person or having my own local content?
Look, you have an option. So I'll show you right here. I have that turned on. Here's why. The only way for you to track your clicks, if you want to know your clicks specifically, which you see right here, the only way you can know your clicks is if you have that turned on where it says CityBlast for technical reasons, which I won't go into. But suffice it to say, it has to say CityBlast if you want the clicks. I just realized that we've pushed live the switch for that. If you want to turn that off, you can turn off click tracking and click Update here. Now it will not say CityBlast on the links anymore. It will say the link of the actual site you're going to, but it's going to disable your clicks. So in your dashboard, you will not have access to see this specific number anymore. This will go away. So it depends on what you want. You have to make a choice, and it's not our choice. It's Facebook enforcing one or the other. And again, it goes back to a technical reason. But the short answer is if you don't want it to say CityBlast, then you just can control that right here. Yeah, there's another thing you can do here also, which is auto-like your posts. Yes, I want to maximize my engagement. When we post to my account, my social expert will post out to my account. if you look at it right away, I've liked it already, even though I haven't gone in and done that. And the reason is you get about 20% better engagement when you like your own posts. So we have a button that just allows you to auto-like it, where you don't have to remember to go in and do it. We'll just do it for you. So those settings are available to you.
As many things as you can do to help people be successful automatically, pretty much it looks like you've built that in, which is really exciting. Here's another question. If we sign up on an annual basis, are we assigned one manager that controls the account, so someone that stays with us?
The short answer is most of the time, yes, but not necessarily. So we specifically keep our social managers sort of away from the clients directly, and there's a very important reason for that. If you want someone to manage your social media, when I started managing people's social media, I was charging them $1,500 a month. Then when I had about 20 clients, I moved it to 1,000. Now we have 7,000 clients, and we've reduced and reduced and reduced the price. The challenge is if we give you direct contact, and I'm just being honest, with your social manager, they're completely over-flooded with people who are trying to get in there and, hey, can you change this word to that, and next time can you say this and say that. So if you do want like a super, super customized experience, I can put you in touch with folks who will charge you, considerably more in the closer to $1,000 range, and you will get a very custom tailored experience. We do not guarantee that you'll always have access to the same social media manager. So that there is sort of a benefit to potentially going your own way or going with an expensive social media service. This, I think, is, first of all, we get higher engagement than they do, guaranteed. I would almost guarantee we have the highest engagement in the industry just based on the stats I was showing you before, because we track all our posts, and our managers are always mandated to increase their engagement every month. And when you've done 1.5 million posts, you get better results. But that being said, if you want to wade in there and roll up your sleeves and sort of get in touch with your person and work hand in hand with them, then certainly write us an email, and I'll be happy to pass along someone who offers a more robust service. But you pay for it. It's like $1,000 a month.
Wow, that's a big difference. Okay. Well, we're at 11:07, and I appreciate everyone that's hung in there with us. I want to tell you who the winner is, and maybe if you want to go back to the deck, put the offer up again, and then we'll announce our lucky winner.
Yeah, whoops, sorry. Let's see if we can get that back up full screen for you.
Here we go.
We're going to go through the whole deck because I don't know how to use PowerPoint.
You're all about social media. PowerPoint is so yes.
Announcement of the winner.
Okay, announcement of the winner is, do we have a drum roll? Da, 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 da. Kathy Carr. I hope she's still on with us. Kathy, we will email you with all the instructions, but congratulations. And if we want to go back to the other screen just to remind everybody again, if you would like to purchase, go back to the slide right before you. 20% off for life. That doesn't mean this month, this quarter, this year. This means forever. So if you stay with social media for 10 years, you're always going to have that price. Just type in the promo code WIN, W-I-N, into cityblast.com and take advantage of it. And for all of you that are on the call, we will be sending you a recording of the webinar in case you wanted to share it with anybody or wanted to go through it again yourself. And of course, Shaun is available and his company is available to help you with your Facebook and social media needs as well. So thank you to everyone for attending. And if you have any other questions, feel free to send them to us, and we'll send them over to Shaun as well.
Yeah, I'd just like to, I'd just like to let people know as well, afterwards they can contact us at the phone number on the website, which is 1-888-712-7888. I can hear the phones are blowing up in the other room already, but you can call us there. The number's on the website at cityblast.com, or send us an email to info@cityblast.com. Sorry to interrupt, Marilyn. Thanks for having me on.